Welcome to Zero Hit Points. It's February 26th. This is Matt Amberg, and I'm Ryan Miller.
Okay.
I did you first.
God got me.
Top billing.
Nobody knew it was coming, including me.
And now that you know that it's here, how do you feel?
Not as good as I thought I would, but not as bad as I expected, so.
ZeroHitPoints.com, everybody. Where we talk about video games at least once a week. That's today. Welcome to today.
Hello.
To the rest of your life and the rest of your video games.
That's right. We're not doing any more games. We've done them all.
Looking at today's list, that I don't see any, unless I haven't updated here, I don't see any that are different from last week. So that might be pretty close to the truth.
Yes, that is the truth.
Functionally, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a reason why we keep playing the same games over and over?
Well, I can tell you that I am currently going through a weird little phase. Not weird, probably not a phase. I don't know. I got to go back to I've got my therapy appointments coming up, and it's something I got to talk to my therapist about, but I am just, I am having a serious hard time caring about or wanting to play or be involved with video games right now.
Gotcha.
I'm burning out or something, and I'm forcing myself to keep playing Red Dead. I'm trying to kind of get through Crackdown, and I'm just not enjoying video games right now. Like, I'm just not having fun with them. And this happened a few years ago. I've actually mentioned this before. It happened a few years ago, and it kind of led to us going back to, it was like a Borderlands thing. We didn't play games for like a year, and then we started playing Borderlands again for like a just crazy amount of time.
Well, even more recently, we took like 2 or 3 weeks off at the end of last year, 2016 or something like that, where I think we talked about this specifically on the show. Yeah.
Last year would have been 2018. And
right,
then,
that's true.
So we're 20, but you know what? However, your function of time, it's a construct.
I'm having a moment too.
Time is a construct. But yeah, I think I've mentioned this before, and sometimes it's 2 weeks, but this has been going on for pretty much since December. Like, I've been forcing myself to get excited and try things and play games, and it just
almost like we could have taken 2 or 3 weeks off at the end of the year, maybe.
Wouldn't have mattered. It's still there. Like, this happened before then. It's just like it's been building and building. So, what was the initial question? How did I even get here?
No, this is good. I feel like, I myself reach a saturation point too at times, for sure. Luckily, unluckily, lately, it's just plain work that keeps me playing or coming back to the same thing. Because oftentimes I'll devolve into kind of comfort food gaming type thing.
Right.
But it certainly results in us seemingly talk about the same things, which the thing about this show, I feel like, and the thing about Zero Hit Points, Thursday show included, is that we still, for the most part, do whatever we want. And I think that's an important part of it. Otherwise, it comes off, or can come off, as both insincere but also pointless. To me, anyways. And, which I think comes across to everybody else.
Yeah, I think the pointlessness is definitely a huge part of the show, but it's a different kind of pointlessness. We're aiming for that as opposed to accidentally stumbling upon it.
True.
It's
so
purposeful.
the times that we stumble upon it seem strange. I don't know.
It's repetitive at that point. But
is it?
Again,
let's say it again.
Humor through repetition is always the right way to go.
Yes, well, we got the repetition down.
Yeah, humor through repetition is the right thing to do.
One more time.
It's the right way to go. Humor through repetition. You can't go wrong when you have humor through repetition. It's top tier, good stuff humor.
No, I'm never gonna fault you, man. Like,
I don't.
Whatever. If in fact you ever want to take some time off, we just take the time off. I'm well aware, and I'm not saying I get you or I understand. I'm not trying to do that
you are.
thing.
You get me. Okay? You understand. You're in my head, man.
But I yes, Matt.
No, like I still read the news and stuff. It's just it's like when it comes to and my interest in terms of what's coming and what's going on is still there. It's just like I'm not excited to play any of it. I have no interest in picking up a controller right now. It's just, and I look at the catalog, not even the back catalog, right? Just the stuff I have that I've been playing or that I've like, yeah, I really want to get into that. And I look at it and then there's like one single teardrop. I pick up some litter and then I'm like, I look around and I go, well, I guess I could read comic books. Or, you know what? Instead, I'm just going to sit in front of the TV while it's off and just stare at it.
Wow. That actually sounds pretty good right about now.
It's not bad. If you want to take a few minutes, like if you could put in like let's just take a few. We'll go watch our TVs without anything on. We'll come back.
Do computers count? If I stare at that for a while.
Yeah, just turn everything off.
Just something that's off. Honestly, that sounds real nice.
Yeah. Oh, and Ryan just turned his computer off, and the show just all right.
And listening to your list of games, I want to say that those aren't completely blameless either. You got Red Dead, which I did play some more of, like a tiny. Actually, no, I didn't play more. I have more that I didn't touch on because I was waiting for you to catch up. So I'm guessing we'll still save that.
Chapter 4, baby.
Which means so little to me. It's like all the chapter markers are so big when they hit, and then they just disappear into did that happen again? I don't remember exactly.
We can actually talk about what leads into chapter 4 because there was it was my first real shocker of a moment.
Okay, well, to finish my thought too, Red Dead's a game that asks something of you. I feel like more than a lot.
Oh, sure.
Whereas the second game, also that you mentioned, Crackdown, especially since we've been playing it largely together, also probably asks a lot of you, but for different reasons.
Sure.
So I'm not going to say those are blameless either. But yeah, if you got a Red Dead, yeah, you could give me your Red Dead.
Yeah. So I finally got to chapter 4, and I just kind of have walked into it. I haven't really done anything in it per se. I'm trying to remember if we moved again. Maybe we didn't. I don't remember.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you told me you're in Shady Belle now.
That's right. I'm in the Shady. Yeah, right. We moved to the old plantation house that I went and murdered a whole bunch of idiots from. So right before that is the one of the missions that kind of leads into it is it's a Marsden is there, if I remember correctly, and Sean and oh man, who else is there?
Oh, I remember what. Yeah, yes, I remember now. There are two missions I feel like you're headed towards, and we're gonna spoil, or we've already kind of spoiled stuff, but I feel like these are bigger things, and I mentioned them in passing, waiting for you to get to them last time we talked about them, and it sounds like you're there. So yeah, go.
Yeah. So there were two great moments here. One of them, the shocking moment was that last little bit where you end up going into the town that the Grays run and trying to get to the sheriff, and you get to the sheriff and you find out the entire town has been laying in wait and there's a huge trap. And as soon as it began, like there's a moment ahead of time where I went, oh, he's dead. And sure enough, like moments later, but it was totally still one of those. I can't say it was a gut punch in the same way that I might get from a character dying in a movie or something, because the story is not with Sean in particular. Right. He's not integral to the story. He's brought in late, and then he dies pretty quickly.
And he's instantly likable. Like, he's a good character, and he was definitely one that I, as opposed to Micah, where I kind of actively avoid those missions. We talked about this before.
Just kind of want
Sean, there weren't enough missions with him, I would say.
No, exactly. I really like the character, and maybe it's just because I have an affinity for Irish folk. I don't know.
Sure, yeah, he does a good one.
But I really like that, and that was it. And on top of that, while it was such a oh no, it was also a really, really great shootout. You have this fantastic set piece where you've got guys up at the top of buildings. They're coming up, they're popping up over the railings, and you got guys coming from the left and the right. And one of the things that Red Dead does here really well is, because you're with a bunch of people, the game does a really good job of making it feel like they're doing something. Like, you might still be getting overrun, but I never feel like they're useless. Like the people in the band are useless. Like, they're actually slowing them down, or they're keeping the people at a distance so that I can shoot them, what have you. But I I like that too. And that was a great moment that had that where they're kind of moving around and there's so many directions these guys are coming from that if they're not there, I think that becomes a really cumbersome and not fun situation.
Yeah. And I'm not going to say that every one of those missions is like that even. I think obviously more care was probably given to this mission, because one of the complaints I've heard about Red Dead 2 a lot is that some of the missions get a little shooty. Like they're just kind of go there, shoot this thing, gunfight this, and you're done. This I definitely think is more of that. And I think there are some that are more than just that, or can be more than that if you take advantage of them. So yeah, definitely. This was a good one.
And then the other part, it precedes that, if I remember correctly, which I'm fairly certain I do, is the moment where Jack is kidnapped and you have the entire camp basically mounts up and goes riding into the Braithwaite estate. And that is another one of those just not only a great set piece, but the way they purposefully do the lineup where everybody is kind of in they're kind of together in a line, but there's a slight
band photo.
But exactly. But there's a slight V to it, and they're all looking. Oh, I'm the cool guy. I'm the funny guy. I'm chewing gum.
But they have you walk down that center entrance. Yeah, it's like a dusky sun. It's amazing looking, right? It's freaking gorgeous.
It's a great looking moment. It's a fantastically scripted moment too. Like I did love you're sitting on the horse while Dutch is trying to negotiate. Let him go. He's just a kid. And that moment is one of those like. I was sitting there in anticipation going, I know how this is going to go out. Like, I know how it's going to go down, but I cannot wait to hear what Dutch is going to say. Is he going to just be like, all right, well, now we go? Or is he going to, is something going to, what's going to kick off the gunfight? And it didn't disappoint. It was Dutch basically going, all right, you started it.
Yep.
When technically we started it, but whatever.
That's a strong story moment too, I want to say. And for me, the story is making more and more sense as it goes along, and I don't just mean plot-wise.
Sure.
But I mean in that Rockstar has often tried to do more with this genre, because for the longest time, open-world games couldn't tell a story to me real well. It was just always too scattered. I was doing too many things at once, and it always kind of suffered for everything else that the game offered.
Sure.
Here, I'm kind of getting the point of it being a whole, and also the point of kind of losing that focus, going on that journey, because seeing the different things that Dutch does and the different phases that his character kind of goes through.
Yes.
And I'm still waiting for you to get to a certain point so we can talk about where this might break down a little bit for me. But it's landing with me a lot more this time. Like when moments like that do happen, even though I've done, I've just been out doing side garbage, like not even side missions, just side garbage it's called.
Look, more things to shoot and skin.
Exactly.
Can I craft something out of it? No.
And to have these missions land still even more like that, like they've definitely hit on something. They've hit on an evolution with Red Dead 2 for sure.
Indeed.
For me.
Yeah. And you touched on it, and I'll see where I end up with it, the further I go. But I'm getting more invested in Dutch's story now too.
Right.
This whole section actually is definitely chapter 3 was definitely more of a we're going to kick up for me Dutch's stuff, and it really picked up just prior to this mission where you go to the bar and you're trying to find information out, I think, on where Jack is. Maybe? No. Oh, you're trying to find information out about the Pinkertons. That's what it is. And you go to the bar, and then there's a whole thing, and then Dutch is going to meet you back out in front, and then you go out, you do your thing in the bar, you come back, and you talk to Dutch, and you give him all the information. And in terms of like the importance of that bit in the story, it's probably nothing. It's a blip. It's a minor part. It's a minor mission, but the way you converse with Dutch and he talks to you in that mission, it was like, okay, this is now I'm getting a little more invested. And then with Jack getting kidnapped plus that whole interaction with the Pinkertons just before that, Like that interaction with the Pinkertons is great when they come up and we just want Dutch's head. Everybody else can leave. And Dutch totally does the go ahead and take me. And everybody in the camp pulls out a gun.
Right.
Okay, well, we're going to come back with 50 people. You can't do anything. To which in my head, I'm thinking, oh, yeah, I've got Deadeye. I could probably get at least half of you in like one go. But yeah.
Yeah. You've got some things coming. Yes.
Kicks to the nards, huh?
You won't. Yeah. What's the orange hair Afro guy? Yeah.
Yes. Carrot Top.
Exactly. Carrot Top nuts.
Corn nuts.
So glad we have a title for the show this early on.
When was the last time you had corn nuts?
It's been fairly recent, actually.
Really?
I like corn nuts. Yeah. My wife likes corn nuts.
What kind? What are your flavors?
I stick with original.
Yeah.
Actually, barbecue's okay in a pinch. Never got into ranch, but I also am not a Cool Ranch fan. So
I like Cool Ranch in the Dorito form. Well, okay, I don't even like chips. That's one thing. I'm not a huge fan of them at all.
Okay.
I will eat them occasionally. Like tortilla chips are more likely because there's usually salsa. But like
fair.
Flavored like potato chips in general, or like Doritos, like I just don't like them. I won't eat like a whole bag of them. I'll have one or two, and yeah, it's good. I like
It's
Cool
a rare
Ranch.
occurrence over here. Yeah.
I like Cool Ranch, but Corn Nuts way more. Like Corn Nuts, Bugles. Oh yeah, I'll eat a whole bag of Bugles because then I can make my.
Right. I'll eat 5.
Yeah.
You know why?
Yeah.
10 maybe.
Because you could be a witch.
They're on there. So speaking of the evolution of the genre
and snack foods,
yes, the consummate gamer game, Crackdown 3. We played some more of this week.
It is a game.
It is a game. Do you have anything to add? It might be my question with this thing.
I will agree with you. I think we talked about it last week, but we definitely talked about it while we were playing. Once you really start getting up there in the agility, the game opens up a little bit and becomes a much better game to play.
Right, yeah, totally.
It is still just not quite there.
Nope.
It's
it's still mediocre. It's not. You're not scaling mediocrity with any of your new superpowers.
For all of the incredible jumps you can make, you're always going to Deadpool that and go, I got it, I missed it, and you're going to fall flat onto the highway.
I've noticed some of the weirdness about that mantling, about climbing up buildings too. If you're not pressing forward, like he doesn't just automatically grab onto ledges.
Right.
And even then, if you're pressing forward, obviously sometimes he doesn't grab
It
onto
does
ledges.
not do it more often than not for me. Thank you very much.
It just seems like a weird decision where you want to grab onto a building and just kind of hit A, and you could be going up.
No,
you have to be hitting forward, and then if you don't,
this
sometimes you
totally
bounce off,
comes back to one of those fundamental issues that I mentioned last week that I have, which is the whole ledge thing. And it's a game that like the ledges kill me in this. You can't jump straight up because if you're not connected to the wall, if you're not holding on to it, you're going to hit a ledge. Sometimes the place where you're supposed to hold on to, you will hit that because it's a ledge. And I cannot tell you how many foot races I've gone, nope, I'm just not doing this because that happens. There's one in particular where you have to go, like your first jump takes you straight up. You have to go, You have to jump across, then go up fairly high onto like a water tower. Nope. Just no. I'm not bothering with that. It's way too frustrating and stupid because and I know you did that one. I know you've done almost
I've done
all
them
of them
now, actually. Yeah.
But I do not have the care nor patience to bother. Like, if it was a difficult thing because of timing somewhere that wasn't like, it wasn't because of the movement, it's because of me, that's one thing. But man, that's just like some of those things are just real poorly put together.
Well, here's the weird thing too. And I've experienced the same thing, so I'm not putting this on you or anything. Like the frustration hits after the first failure.
Oh man.
I mean, because you still can't do them after numerous tries. Like none of them are so hard that you feel like it's impossible. It's just that you're learning the route, you're learning the tricks. But it's after not getting it on the first try that it's frustrating, where the game isn't, it's not, it can't be all me.
No, because again,
Or all
it goes
you.
back to those moments. There are those foot races where, okay, I will go back and do it a couple times because I screwed it up because I didn't see where the arrow was pointing. So that's fine. I'll go back and redo those ones over and over again. I'll get frustrated because I keep forgetting to go left here. I don't jump high enough.
Right.
But no, man, there are some of those ones where you go through it and it's like, I failed it.
Yeah, it's
what?
clumsy. Yes, they're asking for, especially those. I mean, we're talking about a game that we've called mediocre enough times to probably stop, but it's still asking for a degree of accuracy to complete these foot races that, or even like I said, they're not impossible. It's not asking for so much accuracy that you're like, how did this stay in? Actually, you know what? Some of the car races, I am asking how those still stayed in there.
Oh yeah,
some of those car races are demanding a degree of accuracy that I'm like, who? At some point, you get angry enough that it feels malicious. Like they've put this in here because they hate working on this game and they want the people that play it to suffer.
They're like,
there are some races where I get the distinct impression because they make you do them in certain cars. And the one race I'm thinking about in particular, they make you do in the spider form of the agency car.
And that thing is so hard to control.
It's hard to control, and I feel like is kind of meant to. Like I feel like it controls almost exactly like the other games because I remember spending time with it trying to get it to drive up the walls just right or jump onto the walls just right.
And that's a nightmare into itself.
But this isn't even one of those races. Like they could have given me a race with that car that's a little forgiving that lets you go up a wall. That would have been fun. No, this is just a normal race around one of the construction sites. So you have some of that destructible garbage, literal garbage this time, not even like Red Dead garbage, that litters the track. And that's the stuff that when your car hits it, you fly off. You know, the funny, you know, when you hit something and you bounce off the geometry and it's funny. What if you're trying to win a race?
Crackdown 3 is the game that I swear somebody was in the middle while they were developing it. Somebody was playing a lot of Goat Simulator.
Apt, yes.
And Goat Simulator, they were like, let's have fun. Crackdown, they were like, let's make a serious game. We've got some Goat Simulator in here.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
We've been working on this thing longer than Anthem had been worked on, and look how poorly that thing reviewed. We can easily outdo that in mediocrity.
Yeah. Crackdown, I'm still playing it. The end, maybe. No, all I have left are the orbs. Speaking of achievements, even now, which is something that can keep you going. All I have left are the orbs.
I will say, when I'm playing the game, that is legitimately the best part of the game for me. Is just going around the orbs. We
may want to get together then.
Yeah, I got a whole mess of them that I was missing the other day.
I will say, while the game does surface that information better than any other Crackdown so far, I want to say, it breaks down the map into sections, and then it tells you how many hidden and how many agility you're missing in each. I will say that's nice. I don't know if it's quite enough still, especially in the bigger sections where you're looking for orbs that are on some of the skyscrapers. It's getting a little tedious, but for the most part, I can go to a section, see what I'm missing, and find it relatively quickly now, which is nice. But
yeah, the hidden orbs still throw me off, and those are more of I come across them. Oh, there's one.
Yeah, you kind of start to get the feeling for where they usually hide them type thing.
Yeah.
None of them have been too unfair, I feel like.
Oh, no, I don't think any of them have been unfair. They've, more than anything, I just don't look for them because they're like, oh, they're hidden, so I don't really want to take the time to...
Yes.
And that's one where because I know you can, that's the way you max out your character. I do want to see how maxed out, what happens when I have everything.
You can get maxed out before you get all the orbs. And I would still actually definitely keep still maxing out your character. The game becomes more fun.
Oh, yeah, no.
The sixth, each stat has 6 levels. The 6th level, especially on the agility, is this huge, it goes from a triple jump to basically a booster pack that you have a limited reserve of, but you can turn it into a 10 jump, or you can just lean on it and basically fly for a limited amount of time.
That's how I'll end up winning that one foot race.
Yes. It's all very nice.
Stupid.
And all the propaganda towers, that's how I'm scaling them in
those
2
things
seconds.
Are just... There are moments of those where there are times I have fun with those. And after you mentioned the checkpoint thing, I was like, oh, okay, I can deal with that. There have certainly been 1 or 2 where I've gotten I'm right at the tippy top, and then something happens and I fall and I go, well, never doing that again.
That was a fun day because remember I phrased it without really talking about it yet because we were playing together and I got one done. And I was like, yeah, you were doing something else, but it'll show you when I complete some of those things. It'll do a little cutscene. And it did one of those. And I was like, yeah, sorry, I was just grabbing one of these propaganda towers for you. And you're like, oh, I don't mind the propaganda towers. I'll do them. Because I was already in my head thinking that this is going to be his least favorite part of this game, period, hands down. But I don't think you've done enough of them yet. And you're like, no, I don't mind them. Like, that's fine. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then you...
Still not my least favorite part, though.
No, yes, definitely. Which is saying something?
I guess.
But yeah, then you did like one or two others, and you were like, okay. I started to see it happen in real time.
They can get frustrating, but those are ones that like those are, at least for me, far more manageable than even the foot races. Like when I fail the foot races, I'm like, I hate this game. It's the dumbest thing in the world. Nothing is good about this game, and every developer needs to go take a flying leap off of a very tall building. Come on, you like Crackdown. I developed it. Go jump.
Without special powers.
That's right. You're not Terry Crews.
Terry Crews. There is something fun about that. Did you? That's who you chose, right? Isn't that your agent, or did you switch?
I swapped the agent when you and I started playing multiplayer, but it's basically like, yeah. No, I just...
Well, because I felt bad, like, because he's the only agent with a face, and it's Terry Crews, and I was like, man, everybody's gonna choose this guy, and then I was like, but Terry loves video games.
But Terry loves love.
There is if you look at his bio, there's like it says his favorite food is yogurt or something like that. See that? It's nice.
Took my yogurt. It was full fat. I only get that once a week.
Terry loves yogurt. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, everybody. Also, Book Club for Movies on Thursdays, where we're also as likely to talk about that.
It could happen. Probably not this week, but who knows? Anyways,
for now we have one video game left.
Yeah, winner, chicken dinner.
It's Tetris 99. I got into it. I downloaded it first and foremost.
Sure.
And then I played it secondably. And first game I played, not like 70 something, didn't do great actually.
Yep, same.
I don't know. The controls are weird, which I know that sounds weird for a Tetris game. There's probably only two ways you can actually control a Tetris game. But the way they've thankfully done it on the Switch is they've foregone the joysticks completely. I don't know if you can switch your control scheme to use them. I don't know why you would.
Don't.
Because those joysticks, I've run into numerous problems before. My favorite is on Mario Kart, where I will, for some reason, and this is the problem with the sticks, they're either so sensitive or so inaccurate with their directionals sometimes. And maybe this is just when you're holding it sideways, although I feel like I've still run into it holding them two-handedly. But it'll accidentally shoot red turtle shells behind me instead of front of me because I'm turning at the moment and it thinks I'm like left and back instead of left and forward just a little bit or something. So it's shooting red turtle shells behind me, which aren't effective.
Well, it depends
especially
on what
when you want to hit the guy in front of you to win the race.
That's true. Next time, just blue shell. But also, that is totally something I found is pretty much alleviated with the Pro controller.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I don't have a Pro yet. I'm definitely considering it for Tetris 99, of all things.
Yeah, then actually, go check Target. I think...
Actually, you know what?
Target had they were rock bottoming some of the Pro controllers, like I think the Super Smash Brothers ones were being dropped. They were dropped down. I saw them at like for $40 instead of $60 or whatever.
Okay. For a split second, I was thinking, I'll just get the NES controllers but then I just remembered I don't think those work yet with anything outside of the Nintendo store, right?
Man,
and Switch Online.
If those do work, I got it. Yeah.
With Tetris, right? It would be the perfect.
It would be the perfect.
It would be the perfect.
Yeah.
But it's not the perfect.
So do you love Tetris 99?
Thankfully, like I said, sorry, what?
Do you love Tetris 99?
Thankfully, like I said, they do not make me use the stick or start me out with the stick, but they do put the rotation button that I'm used to on a different button. Like I'm used to using the furthest right button to be the one that goes clockwise, and I think they made it counterclockwise. And I'm sure you can change this in the settings for what few settings there are for this game at all. You can't turn off the music, number one. That's not even a setting, which I would have done. But once I got used to just using the bottom button to do the switching, it uses the 4 buttons as directional on the left, so you're not using the stick, you're just using the ABXY of the left switch Joy-Con to do the lift. That's great. Like that's totally fine. I have accidentally hit the top button to drop some stuff, but again, you get over that. And I feel like I did that in the other games too. So nothing new, really.
No.
But yes, first game, 70. That was all I played for that day because basically the Switch is still in the living room. So it's kind of when the family's around or not doing something, or it's a game I can play in front of the kids when my wife is gone. That was day 1. Day 2, I believe I got up to 5th place. And again, I'm playing like maybe 5 to 10 games at a time. I'm not marathoning any sessions here. But after that 5th place, I don't think I got anywhere near it for the rest of the day. And I want to say this was, so second day, the reason I also didn't take that long, I just put it on to show my wife because I had shown her a PUBG like forever ago when we got it. She was like, oh, that's cool. You know, I show her games from time to time to see if she will enjoy or can get into the spectator aspect of it. She likes to watch. She used to like to watch Call of Duty games, stuff like that.
Live action Twitch TV.
Yes. PUBG, not so much. Battle Royale, not so much. But I had to show her this one. So I was like, hey, check this out. This is like that other game, but it's Tetris. And she got into it, not so much that she didn't want to watch a movie after 4 or so games. So I only played 5 games on day 2-ish. Day 3, I'm in it. Candy's gone. That's my wife's name, by the way. And the kids are also, we're out of candy in the house. I don't know. I just wanted to specify.
I thought that was like you were saying, I've been playing it now for 2 days straight. Candy's gone.
Yes. She left. Not only was she sick of those 4 games in a row, she got sick of marriage. Third day, I'm in it. She's gone. I'm watching the kids. Evelyn, my daughter, even starts to get into it. Unfortunately, because she starts counting off KOs and as people die and how many remaining players there are, because she gets the idea of it immediately. And to the point where I'm like, okay, I think you need to stop doing that for, a little bit. I'm getting up in the top 50 every single time, not an issue. Every other time it seems like I'm top 10. And then finally, I might have got up to 4th. Yes, I believe it was the highest before that. Finally, I'm last 2, and I just have the perfect setup. In Tetris, especially the way I play, it's a lot about whether or not you get the RNG gives you the pieces that work for me. Because the way I play, I only rotate one way. I can't T-spin at all. I am hard dropping stuff, so I'm going pretty quick, but I think that's my strongest suit. I'm not like a real flexible player. Like, if it doesn't give me the right things, I can't do it. Like, that game is just done for me. So I got the right stuff. The junk that people were throwing at me was building up a perfect Tetris on the right side of the screen. So I was fine. And I had a line backed up. So I nailed this guy with a Tetris. And I had like maybe 2 more in the bag that I could have given him eventually. But that one was enough to kill him. And number 1!
Yeah! And if you want to see it, go to the Instagram. There's a video of it. It's pretty delightful.
I did. In fact, I did all the work to figure out how to get videos off of the Switch and to put them on my phone and to upload them to Instagram.
It seems like a lot of work, but
it wasn't so bad, actually. I did have to I had to find my micro SD card, which it's funny because it existed in the R4DS card that I had for my DSi, forever years ago. So that's look that up. But yeah, I found that micro SD. You just stick it in there and then you copy it to the micro SD and then you're good to go. It's actually not too bad.
Well, disappointing.
Yes. I have got back into Tetris 99, I think once since then, just to kind of see, and I might have got 5th again, but I don't know. Felt pretty good just getting that one. I think
now I'm done with it. Delete.
Yeah.
Free game, delete.
That's cool, though. It's a really good game. It's a very bare bones game. I'm sure you've heard anybody say at this point. But it's amazing that it's free, that it's put together as well as it is for that. I mean, the online is flawless. I didn't get booted for any reason. Every single game fills up. Like, there are people playing that thing. I like how it's surfaced for the most part. You see all those players on screen. It shows you who you KO.
Yeah.
The way, I guess, on touchscreen you can customize more who you're sending junk to. I just kept mine on KOs, which will automatically send junk towards the people that are closest to death, which sounds bad.
Yeah,
but,
there is a setting to where you can actually choose where it's going without. I don't think you just have to do the touch setting. I think you can do it with the controls too. You just have to hold something down. But I don't know why. That also
seems like maybe a bridge too far for me.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Know. Yeah, this is not. I'm not sniping people here.
Honestly, the only thing you have to worry about is I have it on KO, so I'm getting kills, and when you get kills, you get badges. but there's another option to target people with badges. So that's all I have to worry about is I become more of a target as I'm getting more KOs, because like any other battle royale game, if you wanted, you could just set it to, you could skirt by, you could hide in a Tetris bathroom for most of the game if you wanted to until the end, right?
Hey, that's how we win PUBG.
Exactly. But at some point you got, it does speed up too. So at some point you do have to know how to play, and by knowing how to play, I mean you have to know how to manage your infinite spin towards the end so that you can, it's all managed chaos at that point, right? Like I'm not actually so good that I can place them so fast without, spinning them for a bit until I get them in the right place. And this is exactly what I do in the video to get the first. So yeah, whatever. Still a lot of fun.
All right.
Cool game.
Okay, let's talk about other things like news.
Okay.
Reggie fils-aime selfishly devotes time to family now.
He's reading my headline, not the headline that everybody else has figured out.
I thought that was straight from Kotaku. Yeah, Reggie.
I made that up.
Reggie fils-aime is retired from Nintendo, giving way to Bowser.
Doug Bowser. How did I know Doug Bowser wasn't if I knew he existed, I forgot, which seems less likely.
I had no idea he was a real person, but I do like the idea that the Bowser from the video games, like his first name is Doug.
You know what? That works.
Everybody just calls him Bowser, but Mario,
on a lot of levels, actually, yeah.
Mario's sitting there going, I hate Doug. The guy's such a jag.
Stupid Nickelodeon cartoon.
I hate the Doug. Doug was so weak.
What? You didn't like Doug? I didn't like it. I didn't.
Dude,
actually, I didn't. I don't have anything against it. I have fond memories for it, but I didn't watch it.
Doug was no Rugrats, and it was certainly no Rugrats.
True.
It was also no Wild Thornberries, which came years later, but
must have, because I have no idea what you just said.
It was certainly no. What was that show?
Hey Dude.
I liked Hey Dude a lot. So that's the same thing with what was it? Salute Your Shorts.
Salute Your Shorts. Excellent. Don't just sit there.
There was so Cat Dog was pretty good, but there was I can't remember what the hell the name of the cartoon. Rocco's Modern Life. That was.
Oh, there you go. Sure, that's A to B on that one. I feel like
loved Rocco. That was good.
I would get Rocco before Doug. Oh yeah.
No, Doug was seriously like bottom of the barrel Nickelodeon for me. I did not enjoy it.
But he had the intro. Do 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 do.
He did have an intro.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I actually liked Hey Arnold more than I liked Doug, and I didn't like Hey Arnold that much.
I never got into Hey Arnold.
Yeah, football head.
That's true.
That's what they called him.
It's accurate.
It was a nickname for him.
What were we talking about?
I don't know. Reggie fils-aime and how he was
right.
Yeah, and then it turned to Mario.
Doug
the
Bowser.
Guy's name's
That's
Bowser.
right. Yeah, but
we figured it out. We rolled it back.
We got there.
Look at that.
Seriously, that just makes me think about Doug Bowser's whole interview process.
It must have been quick.
Like, foot in the door right off the bat, I got to imagine.
Yeah, no, it was. They saw his name and they're like, "Well, vice president."
But then he, that's probably how it went. But he must have had like a track record at that point, right? Like, where is he coming up? I should look. I should have actually looked at his work history to see, like, where does
his work history his work history says things like. Well,
it's like Taco Bell, Nintendo. Basically,
no, it's like it's World 1-1, World 1-4, and it just is a whole bunch of him getting fired, laid off.
What if? Okay, all right. On his resume, he worked up his entire resume to read as if he was the Bowser from Super Mario Brothers on the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Look, okay. I will be 100% honest with you. This is a fact. And for anybody out there who has never run into something like this or is not aware of this, this is legit. I'm not the only person that does this. But in the past, so Sliptide, our guy who does our intro music, our outro music, all of our music, Sean.
He is the guy who does the music, yes.
He and I, we met when he got hired at his kind of first job, like first big tech job out of college.
Oh,
and I was on I was one of the people I had the final say in who was whether or not somebody was hired. And we went through all these people, and Sean was so funny because we're a tech place. Nobody is wearing like super nice clothes outside of like our manager, who's wearing he's just wearing like a button-down shirt and slacks because he was kind of a nerd bomber. Good guy.
Right, so the tech tuxedo.
Kind of, yeah. I was wearing, t-shirt and shorts, and other guys were wearing jeans, like nothing. Sean comes in like a full suit, like straight up like looking sharp, buddy, looking real. He's got the tie on and everything.
Well, no wonder he got the job.
I immediately just laughed at him. Like, it was the first thing. But we went through that. We go through the interview and everything, and he's fine. And as soon as he leaves, we have the conversation, and Eric, our boss, comes to me. He's like, "All right, final say, you like him or not?" And I was like, "I actually really like him. I think we should hire him." My entire reasoning for hiring a person is never anything to do with what's on the resume. I don't care about your tech experience.
Ooh, okay.
I don't care about any of that. All of that can be taught. 100% a personality thing for me. If you're a good personality, you're a good fit, you're going to
Sean's got it.
Sean's a great personality.
He's got it.
Wasn't necessarily the best personality during the interview.
Who is though? Interviews, man.
He is kind of the one case where things crossed a little bit, where the personality, he was fine. He was good in the interview. He was a nice guy. Everybody liked him. But the personality also came across on the resume, where under his work history, he had Subway, and then his position was sandwich artist. And I was like, yeah.
No,
I was like,
okay, yeah.
That's
hire that
it.
guy.
That's a hire. Right? Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. If you like, your resume should never be that serious, man. Like, it is, but it isn't. If you can't have a little, like, it's
Are you
a legit.
kidding? I put sandwich artist, like, that's the title of most of my jobs on my resume.
Yeah, I'm doing video production for them. Sandwich artist.
Sandwich artist.
Yeah. No, but things like that totally.
That way too accurately describes my job, actually, now that you mention it.
Things like that matter to me, though, like, especially when I'm...
They do.
So if Doug Bowser comes out and he's like, yeah, no, World 1-1. I worked at, Broadcom. World 1-2. I worked at, Verizon.
You hire him. You hire Doug Bowser.
Yeah, like if...
Which they have done, as Reggie has non-hired himself. It's retired. That's what they call it.
Yes, he unhired himself.
Mm-hmm. As president of Nintendo of America, which I feel like we're not supposed to, and this always happens with Nintendo, I feel like we're not supposed to feel about corporations like this. Also, probably not about presidents of corporations like this. But he did a video where he says bye, and it's really good, and I'm going to miss him.
No, you know what? It's like, so I think there's a difference with what you're talking about, what you're mentioning, and what's happening here. And I think it's the same thing with a lot of people like that, where it's less about like, yeah, it sucks that Nintendo's losing him. I don't care so much about Nintendo losing him. I don't really care about what Nintendo deals with there. He was a great personality that represented Nintendo. And fun to watch, like fun to engage with, fun to see. He was like the biggest goober going on, the Tonight Show with Fallon and being like a goon. And he's like,
that's it. Yeah.
But he's totally that
self-effacing is the thing.
He was like, he knew to a point where he was a joke. Like people thought he was kind of jokey. He leaned into it and it worked out because the entire gaming world really likes the guy. And
he put a bunch of those moments in the video. Like, they're fantastic to remember and think about. And he drops the whole body being ready meme, right?
Well, of course. And
he's in it.
But yeah, he's totally, and it's people like that. It's not about the company. It's about, it's he could go work for anybody. And if he's got that same attitude and is doing the same thing, I'm far more interested in hearing what he has to say,
Well, he's going to work for his family, it seems. So.
Well, I'm not interested in them, but if he talks about it, we'll see if I can invest.
It will be interesting to see if he does maintain some kind of a presence or do an interview here and there or something like that.
Yeah, I nothing but the best to Reginald.
Nothing but the best to Reginald. Dang, now I have two competing title names for this week. I
nothing
can't
but
remember what the other one was. So
nothing but the best to Reginald is my specials cover band.
Yes, it's like Flowers for Algernon, except
that's my U2 cover band.
I don't get it, but it's funny.
They never make sense.
There was only one other thing this week that actually was last week, but in fact, I want to say it might have popped off while we were recording last week. So it's a little old, but it's a little pointed. So pointed that I couldn't not mention it.
Poke me.
The AFL-CIO, which is if you had to guess what it stood for, would be
American Football League.
The American Football League CIO.
Oh, American Football League Chief Internet Orator.
Exactly. Doesn't stand for any of those, I don't think.
Alternate film literature cannot impress Oregonians.
Yep. You nailed it.
Suck it.
And they represent more than 12. This is coming from Kotaku. In fact, I want to say this statement was released directly to Kotaku, actually.
They're Kotaku.
But they represent more than 12 million workers in the United States. They're a labor union, but they're a labor union or something. But they include the Writers Guild, et cetera, all that stuff. So they are one of those. First and foremost, full disclosure, that should definitely color how you receive the rest of this. But I do love how pointed it is. The games industry, it being on the verge of unionization for, I feel like, a while now. It's definitely at the forefront. You hear a lot more people talking about it. You hear a lot more press asking about it.
And I think it got a big boost recently because of Red Dead, for sure. I think that was
and I want to say even 2 GDCs ago, Game Workers Unite is an organization out there that's pushing and doing a lot for it. So however you feel about unionization, people are good and should definitely be looked out for. Debatable. And sometimes need to be looked out for. And you must admit, I don't care where you come down on this, there's an argument for it within the games industry where, yes, crunch is something that should and does make headlines and still exists and is talked about in differing forms by upper to lower management. But so, yes, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but there's a part that really gets into it that I'll just real quick here.
Okay.
Quote, executives are always quick to brag about your work. Again, this is directed at game workers from the AFL-CIO. Says, it's the talk of every industry corner office and boardroom. They pay tribute to the games that capture our imaginations and seem to defy economic gravity. They talk up the latest innovations in virtual reality and celebrate record-smashing releases as your creations reach unparalleled new heights. My question is this, what have you gotten in return? While you're putting in crunch time, your bosses are ringing the opening bell on Wall Street. While they're creating some of the most groundbreaking products of our time, they're pocketing billions. While you're fighting through exhaustion and putting your soul into a game, Bobby Kotick and Andrew Wilson are toasting to their success. People by name, man. They get rich, they get notoriety, they get to be crowned visionaries and regarded as pioneers. What do you get? It's not pulling any punches, man.
No, well, and okay, so there are. I'm not going to get into the whether or not unionization is a good idea anywhere or bad idea. It's a different discussion.
It's a longer discussion. It's a greater discussion that we're not going to have here.
It is, and
it's a political discussion that transcends this industry. That all industry.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. Is that nothing that statement says is wrong. I mean, but that's the case in every single company.
It's the way of the world, man. Yeah.
The company that I work for, the CEO of my company, like, for everything I do for the company, I get not even a fraction of what that guy makes.
Right.
And yeah, no, that sucks. Which is why I, again, unionization, do whatever you want. But this is exactly why, for me, a 40-hour work week is a 40-hour work week. When I work more than that, my frustration levels shoot through the roof, and I get pissed about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's crunch. Like, crunch is bad because people are good.
Yes.
Like, what else do you need?
And the thing is, like, I will make up for it. I will find ways to make up for that extra work. There are times when it absolutely makes sense. Something is broken. And this is where I think the games industry is also going to start running into weird things. Games as a service becoming the complete and utter future of everything.
Oh, yeah.
I work in an environment that would be analogous to that, where everything is supposed to be up all the time. If something breaks, you're getting a phone call in the middle of the night, 2 a.m. Fix it. Yeah, I get that. That's what you do. That's part of that service. Things like video games in particular, I realize that financials come into this, but man, the fact that you're willing to spend 4 years on a game and then you've got to spend the last 6 months having people work 70, 80, 90 hours, just always screams to me like you really, really poorly project manage this and put dates out before you ever should have. Like, we should never be hearing about crunch because it should not be happening. I get the 50, 60-hour weeks here and there. push your games out, man. Like, figure it out.
Who cares, right? Delay the game.
And don't ever, I never, ever, ever want to hear from anybody, well, think about the budget. Okay, I'll think about the budget. Let's talk about how Bobby Kotick is making millions in bonuses when that could just go back into the studio so that those people working on the game that you like so much could actually have family lives and actually be healthy.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, and it's so much more than
and that's just one thing, you know.
And this is on the heels of the whole Blizzard layoff thing where you get quotes from like upper level executives that are like, oh, this is one of the hardest decisions I ever had to make in my life, or what, I forget what the quote was. I forget even who said it, but it was somebody making millions saying, oh, this was like a top 5 hard decision to lay off all of these people instead of not making millions, which yes, there's a whole nother half of the country, half of the world out there that's going to be like, oh, well, that's the thing, and they're not.
No, because I see
people
where
should be able to make millions sometimes, I guess. Yeah,
I see where you're going. But it comes back to, and this is like the age-old discussion of, yes, capitalism. You should be able to make all the money in the world, but should you be able to make it off of the backs of other people that are not getting near what you are and that are working 10 times harder than you are? And don't say, I work 10 times harder to get here. Sure. But at the end of the day, once you've gotten there and everybody else is doing the work that you're taking credit for, you've done nothing. That's it. Like
you've worked hard enough to get to the point where you can make more money at the expense of other people at a greater rate or whatever.
Right. So now you're a better person. There you go.
Dumb. Yeah.
I can't wait to figure out how to do that. I want to step on the little people.
Or maybe you're not little enough. Maybe you're too little. Too little. Maybe we're too little.
And we might be too late. But you know what? We're definitely not. We're definitely not too legit.
Oh, wait.
But we can quit.
Fair enough, everybody. 0HITPOINTS.com. Podcast at 0HITPOINTS.com if you want to send us anything about anything that we've said that's wrong and right. And we'll talk about it. That's like the number one thing we do.
We've had discussions.
We'll continue to talk about things on Thursday. In fact, if you have seen the movie Brick, I don't care to watch it again. I've watched it twice now for this show, and it was a good idea. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So show up on Thursday for Book Club for Movies, and I will too.
We'll see.